and welcome to the Blindfold Chess Podcast.
This week, we are looking at a rising star in the world of women's chess and one of the newest Grandmasters to hit the chess scene, Vaishali Rameshbabu. The future star was born in 2001. When Vaishali was 4 years old, her brother, Pragnananda, was born. In an interview with Chessify, Vaishali said, quote, "I used to watch a lot of television when I was about 6 years old. My parents wanted to distract me from TV, so they put me in chess classes. I started playing in tournaments and did quite well. Whenever I practiced at home, Prog would come and disturb me, being only 3 or 4 years old. So my parents decided to get him a separate chessboard as well." End quote. Vaishali started to take over the chess scene. In 2012, she won the Under-12 Girls Youth Championship. This type of success is not free, though. It is very expensive to be a child prodigy. It requires a lot of travel, time away from work, hotel fees, tournament fees, and so on. In an article with Forbes India, Vaishali had opened up, indicated that it was a challenge for them to make ends meet, as their father was a bank branch manager and limited to how much he could travel, and their mother was a homemaker. Vaishali is quoted as saying, quote, "It was a new experience for all of us since no one in our family was a professional chess player." End quote. For a time, the only way the family could afford to go to tournaments, especially with 2 prodigies in the family, was through sponsors. Ramco Cements stepped into that role for Vaishali a little before 2013 to help pay their way into tournaments and travel. Ramco Cements would later also partner with Prog after he had received his International Master title in 2016. In 2013, right before the World Championship match between Viswanathan Anand and Magnus Carlsen, which took place in India, the 12-year-old Vaishali and 8-year-old Prog participated in a 20-board under 2200 simul against Magnus Carlsen. In that simul, Vaishali defeated Magnus Carlsen, who in less than 20 days' time would become the world champion by defeating Anand 6.5 to 3.5. The following year, Vaishali won the Under-14 Girls World Youth Championship in 2014. She continued her upward trajectory by picking up her Women's International Master title in 2016, which required a FIDE rating of at least 2200. Then 2 years later, she picked up her Women's Grandmaster title, which requires a FIDE rating of 2300, plus 3 different tournaments where your performance rating was above 2400. In 2019, she collected her first Grandmaster norm at the Extracon Open with a performance rating of 2553 at a tournament where she gained an insane 58 points in her rating. Her brother also won the tournament with an 8.5 out of 10, whereas she picked up a tie for third out of 365 players. The following year, during COVID, the Olympiad was held online. She played for the India team, where the final match was between Russia and India, but due to global outages causing internet issues, the match between the 2 countries didn't take place, so the 2 countries ended as a joint winner. This was India's first ever medal at the Olympiad. The next year, Vaishali resumed her over-the-board play and earned her International Master title with a FIDE rating above 2400 and 3 different performance ratings of 2450. The next year, at the Fisher Memorial, she earned her second Grandmaster norm with a performance rating of 2596. Later in the year, she participated in the 44th Chess Olympiad taking place in India. The India women's team won bronze, and Vaishali picked up bronze for her Board 3 performance. Coincidentally, her younger brother also picked up bronze in the open section on their team, and also picked up bronze on Board 3 for his individual performance. So the 2 siblings collected 4 bronze medals in this Olympiad. The next year, she continued to climb. She picked up a 3rd Grandmaster norm at the Qatar Masters of 2023, which is enough for the title, but she didn't have the second requirement of having a rating above 2500. In October, she played in the 2023 FIDE Women's Grand Swiss Tournament. This was an 11-round event with 50 participants. The winner of the event would earn a spot in the Women's Candidates Tournament for 2024. Vaishali ended up winning the event with a score of 8.5 out of 11. Along the way, 3 of her wins were against former women's world champions: the 2015 champion Maria Meiserschuk, the 2004 champion Antonetta Stefanova, and the 2017 champion Tan Zhongji. She has said that this is her biggest chess achievement to date. Quote, "I was really enjoying the games, sacrificing pieces here and there, and basically being myself." End quote. She wasn't done though. In December, she played in the El Llobregat Open, where she climbed over the 2500 rating threshold, fulfilling the requirements to officially become a Grandmaster. She was India's 84th person and India's 3rd woman to do so. By reaching the Grandmaster level, she became the first brother-sister duo with Prague to both have Grandmaster titles. The next year, she played in her first Candidates Tournament, which was the first brother and sister duo to not only reach the Candidates Tournament, but they both did it in the same year. Going into the tournament, she was rated 7th out of 8, but finished in a 3-way tie for 4th with a 7.5 out of 14 score. She didn't win the Candidates her first time, but the results did not faze her. She has said that she doesn't want to win it right away. Her primary goal is the gradual improvement of her game and the fulfilling of her potential. Quote, "Naturally, playing in a championship match is the dream of every chess player." End quote. In an interview with FIDE, she commented, quote, "I want to become the women's world champion and cross the 2600 rating." End quote. Last year, she won the Arjuna Award for Outstanding Performance in Sports and Games in India. And from here, who knows where she will go. It'll be great to continue to watch her to grow and dominate the world of chess. For today, though, we are going back just a couple of years to the 2022 Tata Steel Blitz tournament. Vaishali Rameshbabu versus Kulkarni Bhakti. Now, if we're ready, let's begin.
1. Pawn to d4. Pawn to d5. 2. Knight f3. Knight f6. 3. Bishop f4. Pawn to e6. 4. Pawn to e3. Bishop d6. 5. Bishop g3. Pawn to c5. 6. Knight b to d2. Castle kingside. 7. Pawn to c3. Pawn to b6. 8. Bishop d3.
This is the typical structure for the London, where we have the pawn on d4, the pawn on c3, the pawn on e3. White has their dark squared bishop outside of the pawn chain. White has the light squared bishop covering the light square holes by being placed on d3. White has a knight on f3 and a knight on d2. It is a very flexible system, but it also has a reputation for being very boring. However, this opening does have a lot of potential, and there are quite a few Grandmasters that do play it with quite a bit of success.
Bishop b7. 9. Knight e5.
Vaishali already had a plan in place, but if black were to play bishop captures on e5, would you recapture with the pawn that is on d4, or the bishop that is on g3, and why? There isn't technically a wrong answer, but it all depends on how you would like to approach the position. Capturing with the bishop keeps your pawn structure intact, and it also gives your dark squared bishop a nice long diagonal that cannot be contested. However, capturing with the pawn kicks the knight away from the f6 square, which not only gives white a little bit more space, but it also allows white to come in with more pieces, such as queen to h5 or queen to g4.
Knight c6. Pawn to f4. Knight e7. Queen f3. Knight f5.
As white, what would you do with this knight that is now on f5? That is a very powerful knight impacting quite a few squares in your camp. Would you capture it with the bishop that is on d3? Would you retreat your dark squared bishop that is on g3? Or would you do something else? And why would you do that move?
Bishop f2.
Vaishali chose to retreat the bishop because she has plans of pushing the g pawn forward, which will give white more space, as well as retain the light squared bishop and force the black knight away from its powerful square.
Bishop e7. Pawn to g4. Knight d6. Pawn to g5. Knight f to e4. Bishop captures e4. Pawn d captures e4. Queen g4. Pawn c captures d4. Pawn c captures d4. Rook c8. Pawn to h4. Rook c2. Pawn to h5. Pawn to b5. Pawn to g6. Queen a5.
If you are in white's position here, you are threatening check on f7 with pawn on g6 captures on f7. However, black is also threatening with the knight that is on d2 due to the black rook that is on c2 and the black queen that is on a5. If you were in white's position, would you continue your attack or would you spend a move to do defense?
Rook d1. Knight c4.
With the knight coming to c4, black is putting even more pressure onto white's position. Again, if you were in white's shoes, would you try to remove that attacker with like knight captures c4? Would you retreat an attacker like queen from g4 back to e2? Or would you try to push forward with your attack with a move like pawn captures on f7 check?
(22) Pawn g captures f7 check. King h8. (23) Knight g6 check. Pawn h captures g6. (24) Pawn h captures g6 check. Black resigns.
Why did black resign in this position? The only legal move that black has is bishop from e7 to h4, blocking the rook that is on h1 from attacking the king that is on h8. So after bishop to h4, white will play rook captures on h4 for checkmate, or queen captures on h4 for checkmate. So white's attack managed to get in a little bit before black's attack could get in. Being the third woman to achieve the Grandmaster title in India, playing in her first candidates tournament last year, and setting her sights at the World Championship level, it'll be great to continue to watch Vaishali improve. So that is all that we have for this week. Tune in next time where we will continue to work on our blindfold skills and look at another game of the Masters.